Good morning, friends, wherever you are, and welcome to today's Cichlids and Coffee. I had to make some last-minute adjustments there, so I'm running a couple minutes behind. And there we go. So, hope you're all doing well, wherever you are. And if I can get a quick sound check, from you, that would be greatly appreciated, since I never know until you tell me how well things are coming through. So let's see here. Let's see who's in the house before we get rolling. Salient Aquatics. Hey, Salient. Good to see you, my friend. Solar King Ronnie in the house. Salient is one of my moderators. I have several moderators that help keep the stream rolling. Appreciate your help there, Salient. And Michael Lotanero, thank you. Thank you for coming, my friend. Sundar India, hello. How are you? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Gabriel's Glass Boxes. Harley started integrating wild lake snails into our 20 long community. Wow, okay, very cool. Solar King Ronnie and Z-Zip is in the house. All right. Kenneth Dungy. Hello. Good morning to you, Kenneth. Glad you're here. And hey, Jerry. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. And I had 7 folks here visiting, and it was just a chaos, but a great kind of chaos, and I just loved it. Fishman Marcus in the house, along with Peas and Habs Forever. A lot of my favorite people are here. Cat Sailor, Sueños de Tanganica. Hola a todos. Hola usted, amigo. Denny's in the house, another moderator. Cichlid King in the house. All right. Angelo. Hey, Angelo. I'm glad you're showing up again. I know we had some problems on Angelo being able to chat and super chat, and I'm glad we fixed it. Glad you're back, my friend. And let's see here. Luke Biba. Soup Fish Friends. All right. So there you go. And there's a lot more of you, like Country Strong and Free, Robert Egan, Davey Larson, Luke. All right. Oink Master Supreme Forever. I always have to smile when I say that, because it's a funny YouTube name. It's cute, and I remember meeting you, and that makes me smile too. That was so much fun. Connor Armas. Hello, Connor. And let's see, Brian Park in the house. Waynard Wolmerans. All right. Medcow74. That's cool. Medcow74. Billy D. All right. I got to move on here, but somebody just slapped me with a super chat. Now, what's up with that? Let's see here. Salient Aquatics comes in strong with 1990. Thank you, my friend. Every little bit helps, especially now through the holidays. All right. So I hope you folks have been enjoying some of the videos that I was able to put together after the holiday. It looks like it, based on the views. You folks like that video on nitrates. I always love putting out something that might be a little against the grain. And somebody commented, well, the companies aren't making money. If you're doing water changes, they're not making money. So I don't see how it would be to their best interest to get people to think that nitrates are going to kill your fish and blah, blah, blah. But every time you do a water change, you condition your tanks. So yes, they do have something to gain by having you be afraid of nitrates over 10 parts per million. So now, that being said, always keep in mind that every type of fish has its requirements. If you're keeping things like rays, discus, things like that, yeah, maybe 10 parts per million is the ceiling that you should go for. Someone posted under one of the videos that they had a pike, and the pike died at 20 parts. I think it was 20 parts per million. So, and he thinks it's because of the nitrates. So Interesting stuff, and always good for a good conversation. And thank you so much, Salient, for that super chat. So let's get the stream officially on the road. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell and the thumbs up. Let YouTube know that something good's going on. We're close to 50,000. We're creeping to 50,000. Are we going to make it this year? If you spread the word, every group you belong to, spread that word. Let's see if we can hit 50,000. That would be amazing. So definitely do that. And a quick shout out to the channel sponsor, the Cichlids Shack. The Cichlids Shack in Tempe, Arizona. 98% of all the fish you see in my fish room are from the Cichlids Shack. And the other few are either given to me or I picked up at the Aquatic Critter here in Nashville. And a very quick shout out to my wonderful Patreon members. And Patreon is a way that allows you to support the channel on a monthly basis. Starts for as little as $3 a month. And all the details are under the video. Check it out. It's just a great way to support the channel, and I really appreciate my Patreons. I would not be able to do what I'm doing without them. Of course, I appreciate all of you, but Patreons are a different level of support. And also, if you would like cool t-shirts like this, and mugs and cool stuff like this, go to my can you see that? Go to my Teespring page, and boy, that's good this morning. And that supports the channel as well. And if you use Amazon, and who doesn't use Amazon, if you access Amazon using this Amazon logon, if you go to Amazon using that, everything you buy on Amazon will be the same price, but it'll give a credit to the channel. And so if you use that Amazon, you can visit my store. I have a lot of products there. But whether you buy from my store or not, using that link will actually support the channel. So there you go. We paid some bills. Thank you so much for that. And we have a few things to talk about today. And a couple of things that I've noticed have been coming up on comments under videos, not just recent videos, but older videos. When I log on to the comments section of my YouTube channel, it gives me the comments that were made on videos that are 4 or 5 years old, right? It just shows me everything. And one thing I've noticed recently are folks commenting on the use of bacteria in a bottle. Now, you know that the priority in which I list starting a new aquarium. Priority number one, the best way to add beneficial bacteria is from the media of a seasoned, established aquarium. That's the best. Whether you squeeze it into the tank or add it to your filter or tuck it behind a rock in the new tank, and then add conditioned water. Don't add water that isn't conditioned because you'll kill the bacteria. That's my number one method. Number two method, bacteria in a bottle. I love the Fritz products. I've had good results with Fritz Zyme 7. I've even used the Seachem product in the past. I think it's Seachem Stability, I believe. And I've had good results with both. And I prefer the Fritz. I just like, after talking with Fritz, I kind of like the way they evolved and developed that product, both the Turbo and the Fritz Zyme 7. And the key element with that, number one, be sure the bottle isn't expired. If you buy any kind of bacteria in a bottle, Dr. Tim's, Fritz, whatever, be sure it is not expired, because if it's expired, it's worthless. You're just putting in dirty water in your tank. And number two, don't ever add bacteria in a bottle to a tank of fresh water that has not been conditioned, because the chloramine and chlorine will kill the bacteria. So be sure that it's conditioned water. The way I set up a brand new tank is I will go ahead and fill, and I can do this because I have other tanks, okay? And when you're brand new, of course, you can't do this, but I fill the tank halfway with water from an established tank. The tank I'm going to bring the fish over from usually, and that way it kind of helps with the pH. Then I fill the rest of it with conditioned tap water. So basically I have a 50% water change, and then I add some media from like a couple sponges from an internal filter, something like that. I then add that, and then that tank is good to go immediately. Now, another mistake that people make when setting up a new tank is they don't add the fish right away. You don't have to add 100 fish, 50 fish. Add just a few fish. But start adding the fish right away when you use beneficial bacteria in a bottle. Why? Because that beneficial bacteria needs food. It needs to be fed. If you don't feed it, it's going to die. So put those fish in there. Read the instructions of the bottle. It says add fish right away. Add a few fish. Those fish will produce the ammonia. The food that you're adding will produce ammonia and the waste, right? And you'll be feeding that bacteria and actually helping it to be healthy and establish itself. And be sure that the tank that you're setting up when it's brand new has lots of oxygen, because that really helps the bacteria get established. And how do you do that? Surface tension breakup. Either put a bubbler in there, put a hang on back that breaks up the surface when it returns water. A lot of ways to break up the surface, right? But oxygen is vital when you're establishing a tank. So just something that I've been hearing recently in the comments that I thought I would comment on. And one other thing I want to comment on. I'm hearing, and this is common this time of year, because it's starting to get cold, and people are going out and buying filters, rather buying heaters, replacing heaters, and really testing those heaters that have been kind of lying there dormant because the room temperature has been okay, and so the heater hasn't been working that hard. Now the heaters are working harder, especially if you have a fish room like I do in a garage that is semi-insulated. My advice is seriously consider a controller. A controller is something that you plug your heater into. The controller has a sensor that goes into your aquarium, and it will turn it'll turn the power to the heater off when your tank hits a certain temperature. I'm hearing about a lot of heater malfunctions. My heater blew up. My heater cooked my fish. My heater this, my heater that. Get a controller. It will cut the power off to the heater when the heater hits the desired temperature. My controllers are set at, I believe I set them at about 79 to 80, and the heater itself is set at about 83. In case I ever need to heat up the tank, I can do that without having to mess with the heater. But it shuts off the power when the tank is 79 to 80. It shuts it off. So then the heater goes off as well, naturally, right? So a couple tips, a couple bonus tips there. I also noticed in this last week, I got I hit a certain level of fame, the level of fame where you get somebody cloning you. The person was reported and blocked, but they created a YouTube page called Ben Ochart, period, right? Ben Ochart, and then a dot, and then it could operate under ampersand Ben Ochart, all one word, right? Ben Ochart dot, and they used my picture, the picture that I use on my YouTube page. So and they were putting like spam comments about, check out this money making opportunity, come here, check this out, just a bunch of nonsense, right? So at any rate, thank you to everybody who wrote to me and told me about it and sent me emails and let me know that that was going on or commented. That really helped a lot. So Vibes Aquatics in the house. Hello, Vibes. Good to see you, my friend. Henry Bowman in the house. And let's see, Luke Biba. Just put a fluval water mover in my nano reef tank. It works great. All right. Now, when you say water mover, do you mean like a wave maker or a power head? I would assume you don't want too strong a current in a nano tank, but you definitely want some movement to get waste over to a filter, I guess. I have in my betta tank, I have these little small. They're not the I think they're the micron. There's micro and nano. I think these are the micro. She say internal filters, and they're doing a great job in the betta tank. The only grievance I have is with one of them, the suction cups. The suction cups suck, and I don't mean in a good way. I mean in a bad way. It keeps coming detached from the wall, and I'm really glad that she say with the newer filters, the Shark Pros, I'm really glad that they've gone to magnets, because those suction cups, I'm constantly having to go in there, clean the suction cup off, clean the wall off, and press it back against the glass, and it holds for about a day. And then I'll come downstairs and it's just dangling in the aquarium. And I'm almost at a point where I'm tempted to just get some of those little teeny hang-on back filters that just run a thin little tube into the aquarium. I'm almost tempted to replace them with one of those, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna give them a few more months, but I don't want to be having to reach into the tank, every other day, as opposed to just letting it kind of move around in there. Something moving around like that's going to startle a fish. So I have a couple videos coming up. I want you to be watching for them, and one of them is called. Let me see if I can find it here. Here it is. 3 things about water, and this video is going to be about the 3 things I learned about water, things that you wouldn't normally consider that have changed how I do things with my aquariums. So 3 things I learned about water. And I also have a full fish room update coming up where I'm going to be showing every tank, every fish. And I wanted to give you folks a preview of that. If I can get it downloaded, if I can figure out a way to get it downloaded, I will go ahead and do that and add it to this stream. So let's see here. Let's take a look at what you're up to. What kind of trouble are you making here on the chat? Let's see here. I'm cruising the chat here. Country strong and free. I have a blue-green outbreak I'm trying to take care of. Now, blue-green is, I've heard it's not really algae. It looks a little bit like algae, but it's actually something else. But it does need light, so you might want to consider cutting back the light. I know brown algae really needs phosphates. And if you reduce the phosphates, it tends to go away. That may be the case with blue-green algae. So if you have a way of testing phosphates, maybe add a phosphate pad. There are phosphate products you can add to the filter, and try reducing phosphates, reduce the amount of time. It's a little frustrating, but I tell you, as far as algae goes, green algae I think is pretty. And if it turns up in the back corners and stuff, I leave it alone. Brown algae, I don't like that much. The blue-green I think is kind of pretty. And sometimes you get that reddish, that reddish looking algae. I think those things are pretty. But at any rate, check phosphates And maybe I know Aquarium Co-op sells phosphate pads, and that might help. So let's see here. Aquaball's in the house. Hello, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hope your family's doing well. Sueños de Tanganyika, vitamin C. You're using vitamin C to condition water. That's interesting. I've heard of the sodium thiosulfate. I've heard of that, but I have not heard of vitamin C. That's very interesting. I am cruising the comments here. Somebody just hit me with the super chat, and I want to thank you, Robert Egan. I added 2 red and gold Sebrums to my South American tank. It's been a great addition. I love Sebrums. Absolutely love them. I love their temperament. I love their shape. And they're just cool fish. Cool fish. The red shoulder in the 90-gallon continues to be shy, but is coming up to the front and interacting more. But in the very beginning, he was constantly hiding. The red spotted gold Sebrums are very, very active and very aggressive when it comes time to eat. See if you can see them right here. Here's one of them here. I'll just show them to you. I can turn this. Hold on. Of course, the second I turn the camera, he goes off to behind the plant. Here he comes. He's coming around the corner here. Come on, buddy. There he is, right in front of the plant. Beautiful red spotted gold Sebrum. And at first he was pretty shy. He was the dominant of the 2 that I have, and I had to put him in this tank to get him away from the other one. He was like going to kill him. And so what I did is I brought him over. Just a great looking fish. Really love that fish. Come on back here. There we go. Davey Larson, thanks for what you do. Thank you, Davey. I appreciate that, buddy. You guys are making my day with these super chats. I'm not giving away food. I'm not doing. You're just throwing money at me, and I really appreciate it. Peas and Haps Forever, my flavescent spit out her babies, and I'd say there are about 50 in my 20-gallon. Can't wait to grow them out and see if I get any stunners. The dad was a blue neon. You're going to get some stunners. You're going to get some stunners. You're going to have to call them, P&H Haps, because they're definitely going to be hybrids. But you might even get you might even get a few OBs in there. But you've got 2 very beautiful fish, and fluorescent and neons are 2 of my favorite peacocks. Quite possibly my favorite peacocks, next to the bicolor 500. And so you're going to get some stunners. I'd love to see, when you get those stunners, send me some pictures, will you? To ben.o.cichlid@gmail.com. I'd love to see those fish as you're breeding. Now, back in the day, if you had posted that, somebody would have probably attacked you. Oh my goodness, hybrids, you're destroying the hobby. And it's like, come on. Some people really get worked up about that kind of stuff. Me, you'll get a few stunners, and as long as you tell people what they are, no harm done, really, I don't think. So let's see here. I'm still going through the chat here. Green Severums mated? Wow, that's cool, Fishman Marcus. Green Severums mated, and the eggs are wiggling right now. That's very cool. Now, are you leaving the eggs? Are the eggs in a tumbler, or do you have them like just in the tank? being guarded by the severums. That's going to be really interesting. I bet you the baby severums are going to be really, really cute, like baby discus or baby angelfish. I mean, they're just absolutely adorable, like fish pups. That's going to be very, very cool. Brian Park wants to know if you can feed African cichlids human garlic granules, like what you sprinkle on your food. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I guess, I like to buy products that are, made for aquariums, but I don't see any problem. If you were to go out and get, let's say, some organic garlic and you crushed it yourself, or organic minced garlic in a jar, and it's nice and fresh, and you mix, just a little teeny amount in with some pellets. I don't see why that would hurt. Now, before you do that, check the ingredients on your food to make sure it doesn't already have garlic, because food manufacturers are starting to add garlic to the food because it makes it like irresistible. It makes it like catnip for the fish. So check that. And unless you have a fish that's a finicky eater and you're trying to get one to eat, or are you mixing, maybe you're mixing some meds in with the pellets, right? So you let them soak for a few seconds. You let them soak for about 15, 20 seconds, and then drop the food in, and that way they'll be more likely to eat it and ingest the medication. Some people do that with Metro and Focus, right? Focus being Garlic Guard. Those are all options that people do to get fish to consume meds. Andrew Spark, let me see. Andrew Spark says once a week, mine get chopped garlic. They go berserk. There you go. There you go. One thing I love about you folks is you help each other out. You answer questions. This is what happens at the Ben O apostrophe Facebook page. I go there maybe once or twice a week. I don't participate as much as I used to, but it's got 7,500 members, and we get new members all the time. But it never seems to go. The number never goes above 7,500. I don't know why, but 7,500 members, and they help each other. There's no stupid questions. From beginner to advanced, everybody's welcome, and people help each other out. I noticed that in the chats of the live stream, and I appreciate that. So let's see, Luke Biba, I don't say you're saying spirulina. I think you're trying to say spirulina, Luke. Is great. It is great. Spirulina is a great product to add greens, and even my predators get greens. I like to, because it helps with digestion. So I like giving them some type of a product with vegetable in it. Susanna from South Carolina. Hi, Susanna. TNZ's Fish House. It's a cool name. Isn't there a celebrity, kind of a, they chase around celebrities. Isn't that called TNZ? TNZ. Water in southeastern Pennsylvania is liquid rock. If you're going to have a well, can't speak to municipal water supply. Well, I like that kind of water because my African cichlids like it. The South Americans, not so much, but they sort of do. In some cases, some of them like it. I was surprised to find out that rainbow fish actually like a high pH. Did you folks know that? I was doing a little research on rainbow fish, and they don't mind 8.0 pH. I was surprised about that. All right, Waylon Woolmerans, Wynan Woolmerans, talking about fry. Got something going on with some fry there. I've got a lot of fry showing up in my live bear tank, little 20-gallon tank here to my right. Every day there seems to be a new little guy in there, and I'm just letting nature take its course. The ones that make it. The ones that don't. But it's why I haven't added the lyre tail molly. I don't know if I can get this on the screen here. Let me see if I can do that. There we go. I have a lyre tail molly in that little 5-gallon. Show you all the junk under my aquarium. There we go. There's a little that's a 5-gallon bow front aqua top, and I treated that lyre tail with. He had some white on his fins. I couldn't tell if it was a fungus, velvet. I don't know what it was, but I hit him with some Gentle Cure, and I hit him with I think I hit him with Paracleanse. At any rate, he responded immediately. The white cleared up immediately, and he's been really healthy and active. You can see him there running around. And but I'm not going to add him back to this 20-gallon. I'm not going to put him back in that 20-gallon that you see there in the middle of the screen, top middle, because I've got so many little guys in there. I think he's going to go in there and just feast on them because he's bigger than everybody else. So I don't want to do that. You can see the betta tank. You can see Mr. Mustard Gas just barely on the top there on the right. And I don't know where the Nemo Galaxy. I don't know why they call him a Nemo Galaxy, but that's the one I got from the one I picked up from KG Tropicals is on the left side, and he's probably hiding up there in the Sprite, that floating plant called a Sprite. Let me take off the zoom. We'll have a super big head staring at you. All right. Angelo hits me with $4.99. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. Thanks, Ben, for the email responses and for your help. You're welcome. You are welcome. And you can email me if you have questions. Anybody can email me. I don't promise I'll get back to you immediately, but I will get back to you. And so sometimes I do get jammed up with life and family and things of that nature, but I will get back to you. Do you think Oink Master Supreme Forever, do you think I made a good choice with the Shisei Whale 500 as my first canister filter? Oink Master Supreme Forever, I have not used the Shisei line of canisters. I believe I did see him at, did I see him? Did they have him at Aquashella? Or am I thinking of the Oasis? But I mean, Shisei is a solid company. Their products are well made. I think you're going to be happy with it. And I would certainly like to hear back from you on what you think about it. I would definitely like to find out what you think about it. Luke Biba, KG has amazing bettas. You're right. You're right. That betta I have, both of them. And I picked up the blue, the mustard gas locally here. I rescued him from a PetSmart. Don't you like it when people say that? I rescued that fish from a PetSmart. People put up videos like that. I rescued this fish from PetSmart. I bought him at PetSmart, and I guess I did rescue him from living in a small cup. He's a beautiful fish, but but that Nemo Galaxy, my goodness, what can you say about that fish? Crazy pretty. And that's the one from KG. Let's see here. Susanna, South Carolina. I'm calling you South Carolina. I'm assuming it's South Carolina. I have exactly the same 5-gallon bow front, aqua top. I think mine's aqua top, or maybe it might be is it a Tetramin? No, I think it's aqua top. I have a couple mollies that gave me 12 babies a month ago. All babies are thriving. Love this mini tank. Yeah, it's a great little unit. Comes with a hang inside. It's built like a hang on back, but everything's on the inside, and it's out of view. And you got to put a heater in it. Doesn't come with a heater. And I've had a lot of problems with those little mini heaters you can buy. They either way overheat or they don't heat enough. It's really hard. And so I think I'm going to have to probably put like a big bulky, heater, like a long tube in there, as ugly as it looks, just to be able to do the job. Because that little top fin heater I have in there, I mean, the tank's at about 74. So when I finally put that molly back into the 20, I'm probably gonna have to bag them and float them just to get the water up to the 79 degrees that the 20 gallon is at. And so just so the transition is not shocking. But yeah, you'll need a little heater for that, and I'm sure you've got one in yours. Let me see. Luke Biba, don't spend your money on a Sun. All right, looks like you had a bad experience with a Sun. I've had good experience with a Sun, but maybe I got lucky. I've run 4 of them over the years. Sold one of them with an aquarium. Sold 3 of them with aquariums that I sold. I have a 704B running on the 210 right next to me here. I'll show you. 210 is rocking and rolling. This 210 has a sump that is 29 gallons, and it has a Sun 704B that is pulling in water via a pre-filter input line that you can barely make out there behind the rocks or behind the driftwood. But as you can see, this tank is looking good. Oscars are thriving. The standard red tiger is just blowing up. He's just getting really big. And the albino is staying like a little runt. And let me see, where's that red tiger? Let me see if I can get him to show up. There he is. And you can see he's noticeably larger than the albino, even though they both arrived at the same time and were almost identical in size. So he is really blowing up, and either the albino is going to be a runt, or that red tiger is going to be a giant, or maybe the albino is a slow grower. I don't know. But and then we've got this vieja that you see there at the bottom, at the left side there, coming along slowly. Just an absolute beast. I think he's got to be pushing 10 inches or more, possibly. What I'm really loving about him is the pink and red in the cheeks, and just behind the eye and behind the gill plates, and he's got this very subdued blue lining the dorsal and on the anal fin and on the tip of the tail, and he's just a beauty. And do you remember how big he was when I got him? He was like, I don't know what, 2 inches, 3 inches when I first got him. Been feeding him that blend of food. Look at the Salvini. The Salvini is slowly trying to work his way out there on the bottom left. Tries to be the boss, but he doesn't mess with the big vieja. Let me see if I can get the Salvini to come out into the light so you can see just how beautiful she is. It's a female. She isn't moving. Stubborn gal. Firemouth is doing great, even though he does get harassed by the Nicaragua, but there's no body damage or fin damage, so I think he just gets a light chase. and then the Nicaragua backs off. At any rate, I'm very excited about the size that Vieja has put on. The chocolates are growing nicely. They're both larger than the Oscars now. So the chocolates are also putting on good size. Chocolates, of course, get very big. There's two of them in there. Hopefully they'll continue to get along. In the tank behind me, the fish that is kind of caught on the carpet here. The fish that's really putting on some size behind me, of course, is the Malawi trout, like you would expect. The Malawi trout is still 4 or 5 inches short of where he's going to end up. But let me see if I can point him out to you here. Is an absolute beast. Now, a couple weeks ago, I promised that I would show you a feeding, but I didn't. But I've got some food for him here. I'll show you. It's like feeding piranha. What did that take? About a half a second? People tell me sometimes, well, if you feed your fish and whatever's still in the tank after 3 minutes, you should remove. 3 minutes? Are you kidding me? Have you had African cichlids? It's like 3 seconds. All right. Are you having a cup of coffee out of one of these? Those are Oscars on there. You can see them with the glare. And the other side is the logo for the channel, for the live stream. And I've got other cups. I've got other cups that at the spring store that feature other fish like eye biters. Just a whole bunch of my favorite fish over the years on a whole variety of coffee cups. Go check it out. Oh yeah. So let's see here. Somebody hit me with another super chat, and I want to thank them. Where is it? We got Angelo. Did we get Angelo? Oh, TNZs. Ben, a little token of my appreciation for the offline help. Tim, you are welcome, my friend. I appreciate that. I appreciate the super chat. Every little bit helps the channel to continue to do the jobs that I need to do in this fish room. It certainly has come a long way over the last 2 years with your help. And I'll be posting a full walkthrough of every detail either tonight or tomorrow morning. Not sure if I'm going to do the 3 things I learned about water or the walkthrough. Not sure which one I'll do first. And then the other one will be on Tuesday. So watch for those 2 videos. All right. Let me cruise through the chat here. Let's see. Waynard Wilmerans. Do you know who exports Tanganyikans to Southern Africa? I only find locally. Wow, to Southern Africa? Wow, I really don't know. You know, that's a question. If you can get a hold of maybe the owner of Southeast Cichlids, or maybe James Largo over at the Cichlid Shack, maybe someone like that, maybe Josh over at Cunningham Cichlids, they might know because they deal in the import-export. Even Corey at the Aquarium Co-op, maybe during a chat, you can ask Corey, because they do a lot of import export, and they would know something like that. All right, let's see here. Vibes Aquatics picked up a coffee mug. I like that, my friend. I'm glad you got it. I hope you have a lot of good coffee out of that cup. Bon provecho. Bon. Let's see here. What do we got in the chat? I think you're out of focus. Has it come back in focus now? Let me see what's happening here. Yeah, that happens. Let me move this around. There, is that better? Okay, are we in focus now? I hope. All right. Crawdaddy, Quando, golf is officially over for the season, so I'm back. I should send you a list of where my sons golfed over the summer, and you would love it. You would love it. They went to some places in Ireland and some places up in some remote locations in Washington and Florida, and they just went on this little golf tour, and they're just having so much fun. It's so fun as a father to have sons that are like best friends, and that they're both very successful and can do the kind of things that they want to do. And I really enjoy watching that as a dad. GP, drinking my coffee out of, very good, GP. If you told me you were drinking out of some other mug, I would be very hurt. Very, very hurt. Big shout out to GP. GP is what I would call a channel benefactor for reasons that he knows. And you are very appreciated, my friend. Just in case you didn't know that. And what? Andy McCorkle is in the house. And yes, the focus is better. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Neil, yeah, I hate that when something's out of focus and you're like, what, is it me? Is it me? Is it, oh, man, I drank too much last night. Cataracts. The cataracts are coming. Frank. Hey, Frank. ¿Cómo estás, amigo? Me encanta verte aquí. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Julio P. I traded my male 10-inch Dovi for a 22-inch. What? Peacock? What? Oh, for 22 peacock males. Wow. A 10-inch Dovi for 22 peacock males. 3 to 4 inches each. I think you got a good deal, Julio. I think you got a good deal. And you're not going to get your fingers bloodied up when you... When I shot this picture, let me show it to you again here, and you'll see what I'm talking about. When I shot this photograph, 3 things about water. I put my hand in the tank and got a little bit of water and pulled it out a few times. And I'd say maybe 5 out of the 7 times that I took the photo to try and get it right, I came out of the tank with a fish latched onto my finger. And those little punks have got some teeth. One of my fingers was actually hurting for a minute or two, and I had to kind of rub it out a little bit. And man, oh man. But a Dovi, I think a Dovi will actually make you bleed, right? I mean, they have real chompers and can actually break the skin. So at any rate, Whip's World, it's usually me that's out of focus. All right, let's see. Ken AJDK. I don't have coffee. It is evening here. I have a Belgium Christmas beer. Cheers. Cheers to you, my friend. That's awesome, Belgium Christmas. Now, Belgium beer is the real deal. They adhere to very strict standards, very different from, let's say, a Corona or something like that, where they use hyper hops. And one of those things I look at from time to time, and you can't call yourself beer unless you're really beer in Belgium. Let's see here. Snorkel King Ronnie in the house. How many African cichlids do I have in the tank behind me? I don't know. I think around 17, 20. And of course, my Autopharynx tetrastigma continues to live in one-eyed isolation in a divided 55-gallon. I'm afraid that he's not going to be able to compete for food, but he is active, eating well, and healthy. So I have one over there, and I am going to be adding maybe four or five more to this tank as soon as I can get work it out with James over at the Cichlid Shack. We talked about it, and with the company that I had here, I didn't have the time to dedicate to the acclimation, the splitting up, the quarantine, everything involved in getting new fish. I didn't really have all the time for that with all the company I had. Now the temperature is really cold. I don't like shipping fish when it's really super cold. So James and I are holding off on that big dream shipment I talked about a couple live streams ago. And we're going to wait until the time is right. I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush to get fish. So when they get here, they get here. But I'm going to add some more cichlids, possibly an insignis. Instead of an Autopharynx tetrastigma, I might try an insignis. Possibly I'll add a big spot and a few other choice fish. They've got to be fish that get big and can hold their own. And at the same time, things are going well in the tank behind me, so I'm a little reluctant to change things. Even though I will say this, the Buccochromis rhodesii yellow has a little bit of a jerk edge to him. He's the one that forced my hand on taking the John Stoney out and putting him in that little 8-gallon Higer tank, and then the John Stoney jumped out and ended up dying because he was picking on him so much. And the other day he was chasing another fish. So I'm keeping a real close eye on the Buccochromis rhodesii yellow, and I'm hoping he calms down. Now, more fish might spread that out some more and make it a little bit better. So we'll see. We'll see what direction that goes. And I've got some coffee haters that are on the chat, and that's okay. We can still be friends, Jackie. And Oink Master Supreme, we can still be. We can still. What did you say, Oink Master? I don't drink that often. The one time I ever had a hangover was from drinking 2.5 wine cooler. Oh, okay, you're talking about alcohol. But we can still be friends, Jackie. We can, even though you don't drink coffee. All right, let's see here. I'm looking at the chat. KG cichlids, hot chocolate and chocolate cichlids. I was going to do a cichlids and suds, but I was just so exhausted. All the company had just left, and I did about 4 hours in the fish room of maintenance, cleaning and things. And that Wednesday night, I did 3 trips to the airport, taking people to the airport, and I was just exhausted. And so I didn't do cichlids and suds on Wednesday night. I'm sorry, but I was just out of it. Whips World hits me with 440 set. Thank you, my friend. Going an extra hour, fun for those who overslept. Oh boy, we got the trolls have arrived. What is that, girl? Something? Oh my goodness. I think once you go over a certain number of subscribers, they have these computers, these bots that find the channels and try and go in there as a comment. And I'm really glad my moderators are on top of it and just stopping these idiots. So let's see here. KG in the house. Hey, Kevin, good to see you, my friend. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving with your daughter. Melissa Steves, I'm in England, so I have a nice wine at the moment. Melissa, I want to go back to England. That concert I saw in Hyde Park, the Eagles in Hyde Park, The warm-up act was Jimmy Page. I mean, come on. I think the day before they had Adele. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Open air concert in Hyde Park. If you haven't done it, definitely do it. Wow, I can't even describe it. So let's see here. Susanna, I'm not sure when I'm going to go with goldfish. I don't know. It's never been a fish that maybe if I had a pond. I love koi, and I love the coloration, the patterns of koi fish. So maybe a pond, maybe someday. But those real fancy goldfish, the real plump ones that would not have a chance in natural selection. I mean, they would just be like an hors d'oeuvre. They'd just be like a treat for any fish that they can barely swim. They just sort of, I mean, it's like someone took a tennis ball and stuck a couple little feathers and just dropped it. And I don't even know. I guess they're just bred to be these fancy goldfish, but they would never survive in the wild. And some of them are kind of pretty. They have this red, the red head, the red tops. Some have very deep black on their bodies, and they look very pretty. But I've never been interested in that kind of a fish. But I do like the torpedo shape and the multiple colors you get on a koi goldfish. And that would probably be the one fish I'd probably add at some point. All right, so let's see here. Ranchu, is that they're called Ranchu? On fire. Oh, you got Ranchu. Okay, so you like, yeah. There's so many out there now. Dominique, Frontosa or Oscar? I've had Frontosas and I currently have Oscars. Dominique, I liked them both. Frontosas are super mellow. If you want a fish that you can kind of chill with, they kind of drift around. They all have sort of a uniform pattern. It's a cool fish. If you need to chill out, a tank full of Frontosas, very cool. Oscars, very active, very interactive, very aggressive and piggish when it comes to eating. Very different temperament. It would be hard to choose. If I had to pick right now, if someone said, look, we'll give you a couple very nice Frontosas, but you got to give up your 2 Oscars, I would say no. I've really become, like I mentioned in that one video, an Oscar-loving fool. I'm really loving this red tiger and the red tiger albino. So at this point in time, and as I've often said, this can change in the next 5 minutes, but at this point in time, I am going to go with Oscars for right now. And KG Cichlids, I used to have that Frontosa named Eeyore. And he was named Eeyore because he would just kind of sulk around. And he went on to a happier life with KG. And then KG, I think Kevin gave him to somebody who had a Frontosa specific tank, and then he was in heaven, right? A big tank full of just Frontosas, not overlit. They don't like it to be too bright. And I'm assuming he's still living the good life. They can live 30 years. Frontosas can live 30 years. How long can Oscars live? Who knows how long Oscars can live? Go ahead and add it to the chat. Let me know. Oink Master Supreme forever. My adopted elder Clarence the black moor goldfish, such a sweetie, loves his belly rubs and thinks water changes is just another playtime with mom. Oh my goodness. Don't you love it when you can interact with fish like that? TNZ's Fish House, I'm so glad you're here, my friend, and I'm glad you could make it. Thank you, Tim. KG Cichlids, he went from a 135 gallon to a 300 plus. That's Frontosa heaven right there. And they get big and bulky. And if you've ever seen a Frontosa open his or her mouth completely, it's like watching a hippopotamus. And when they say it'll eat anything that fits in its mouth, keep in mind that with the Frontosa, the size of the mouth is about the size of the width of the whole body. It just goes whoa. Right. So yeah, that's good. And how's that red? We had that red top. Probably a fish I used to call Photoshop went to KG, and he was a Lethrinops, and the most beautiful fish I've probably ever owned. And KG picked him up when I moved over from California, and it was fun having him over the house, picking up the tankin fish. Melissa says Oscars can go 10 to 15 years. That's great. That's great. And at my age, I've said before, I don't want to buy a fish that's going to outlive me. Like buying a parrot. Parrots are certain kinds of turtles that can go 100 years. I don't want to include animals in my will. So. By the way, if you're older out there, if you're an older fish keeper like me, do you have something in writing? In the event something were to happen to you, do you have a fish will? Or are you just leaving it up to your friends or your spouse to just sort it out on their own with no idea what's going on? And that would be the case if something happened to me. My poor wife would, who knows what she'd do. So let me know if you have a fish will. There's probably an attorney out there that does fish wills. All right. So I think we've hit the hour. We've surpassed the hour. I started a little bit late, but I kind of owed you a couple minutes anyway. I'm also going to be doing a video on the test strips that I got from Sarah. Watch for that. I'm going to be doing a test of the test strips and see how I like them. I'm also going to be doing a follow-up video on the Expertmatic internal filter, that new black, what's clear plastic with the black inserts, and it's been functioning great. And don't let it get near the bottom of the tank though, because it'll scoop up a whole bunch of substrate and clog up. And when you're doing water changes, you got to turn it off if it's pointed up, because it'll create a fountain of water. It is very powerful. Very, very powerful. This is the 35 watt Expertmatic internal filter. You can see it. I'll show it to you. I did a video on it, and one of the moderators, maybe you can share that video. Right there in the back, you can make it out. It's in the back of that 55 gallon where I have Jack Sparrow. And it, man, oh man, it really pumps a lot of water. And it's got the 3 stages. You could probably use it with 2 stages. I am noticing the bottom stage is getting gunked up first and heaviest, which makes sense. And so you'll hear all my thoughts about it in the update that I'll be putting out. I might put out an update also on the small internal Shisei filters that are in the Beta Duplex and the job that they're doing. Come around here. At some point, I'll probably try and get a hold of two cameras, maybe 3, and that way I can just switch cameras instead of having to go through this rotation process. But I don't mind it, and I don't think you folks do that much either. So at any rate, Jack Sparrow is by himself, Kevin, because he's missing an eye. He lost an eye to an infection and almost died when I treated it in a 5-gallon tank with a little bit of the Paracleanse. So I took him out of there, put him in a split 55. He recovered immediately. He went from laying on his side, where I thought he was going to die any moment, to being upright. He didn't like that 5-gallon at all. And the eyes cleared up, but now it's just an empty shell now. So he's definitely a one-eyed fish. I'm trying to get a patch and a parrot that I can attach to him, and then we can really make him a pirate fish. But probably that'll upset a lot of people. They'll think I'm being cruel. So maybe I will not do that. She say. That's right. Now, when I talked to Jay Wilson, he said, he said, to say the name right, think of Sally sells seashells by the seashore. So I call it Sichay. So I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Who knows? I kind of gave up. So there you have it. Okay. So any last minute questions that you want me to answer? GP, she say, does make great pumps. I have two 5.0 Synchras running the sump on the tank behind me, and I have a 9.0 running the pump on the sump for the 210. And you can't hear them run. They're completely quiet, and they're just perfect. Absolutely perfect. All right. I'm looking at the comments, and if that's it, we are going to go ahead and end off on this stream. But first, let me say thank you to all of you who are here. You truly rock, my friends. You make this so much fun for me. And visit me on Instagram at ben.o.cichlid. I post stuff there I don't post anywhere else, including pictures of my pretty little granddaughter. And come on over to the Facebook page, Ben-O''Cichlid. Great group of fish keepers there. Get all your friends to subscribe. Let's see if we can get the channel over 50,000 before the end of the year. That's the game I'm playing. Let's go for it. Why not? Why not me? Your help is appreciated with that. Thank you, moderators. You're the best. Thank you to the co-op for their support. Thank you to James Largo over at the Cichlid Shack. Be sure to use Shack Attack 10 for food and products, and Shack Attack 15 when buying fish over $100. Discounts don't apply to shipping. And be sure to visit if you do visit the store, my spring store, use live stream for a 10% discount. Live stream for a 10% discount. Okay? All right. There you go. And Mighty, before I end off, Mighty Moran, how long does it take an FX6 be seated as a backup filter? I don't know. Depends on the stocking of the tank you have it on. But I would say three months, maybe 3 months would be a guess. If it's heavily stocked, it could be rocking and rolling in a month. Depends. It's it's a fluid situation, right? A lot of moving parts. Heavily stocked tank, getting lots of food. That FX6 is going to be ripe real soon. Now, if you have a pre-filter on it, that'll take longer. So if you're trying to seed it to move it to another tank, I wouldn't use a pre-filter. Just let it run with the intake the way it is and get all the gunk in there and let it get nice and seasoned. All right? Okay. Let's go ahead and end off, because if we don't, I'm going to get hit with more questions and I'll be here all day. So thank you, my friends. You are the best. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye.